Yo, 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 we are back. We are live. Oh man, am I glad to be back with you crazy cats right here. How you doing, gentlemen?
Just Ducky, man.
You like that bit of footage from the weekend?
Nice, by the way, it was beautiful. Yeah,
You like that? Yeah, but Spielberg and me, you know,
a little bit.
That was a fantastic intro.
Little compilation, little taste of what we'll be getting into tonight. But a big thank you for everyone who's joined us already. And of course, we weren't here last week, so they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. Hopefully, Joe doesn't look too impressed with that. But yeah, we're back. We're live. We're going to kind of creep things up tonight. I did go back to Alistair Crowley's house against all advice, but it wasn't quite as bad as the last time I went. And then we've got some paranormal activity from a ancient Scottish site. We've also got a story, a video that came to me from somebody on Facebook today. And this is of some weird shenanigans going on in the woods in Scotland at a location that is infamous for, wait for it, not the Sasquatch. No. We don't do big hairy beasties over here. We do little light-footed ones. It's where fairies allegedly hang out. So we've got a whole...
You know, Kev, this is funny because my mom, she's like totally into the woo, right? She's totally into the paranormal. She's totally into Bigfoot. But for some reason, fairies, it's just too much for her.
Must admit, Scott, when I first came across I can't remember who it was talking about it over on Coast to Coast. You hear that kind of thing on Coast to Coast from time to time, and they were talking about how they were in a Starbucks, and the Starbucks have got their coffee, they looked at their change, and their change was short. And the next thing, they seen a fairy on the counter, and the fairy went and got the 10 cents or whatever it was, and I'm thinking, come on, what is going on here? These people are insane. Then my mum moves to a different part of Scotland. We're driving along one day, and she says, oh, there's the Fairy Glen down there. I'm like, Fairy what? Yeah, Fairy Glen. It's like meant to be famous for these little creatures, these little fairies. So, Scott, yeah, I dismissed it to begin with, but like everything else we often talk about, dragons and all of these ancient beasties and wild things, usually a lot of it's based in fact, right? And we know that the world is a whole lot stranger than that slither of the light spectrum that we're privy to. So I keep my mind open to it, dude. I really do. I mean, if I came across a fairy in the forest, it's just going to look like somebody my size anyway. I'm just going to think it's a normal person out for a walk. Scott's muted and booted.
Yeah, she's quite muted.
Yeah, she's muted and booted. Look. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, there she
blows. You see, this is the problem.
Again.
He's been Linuxed. Uh-oh.
Crap.
What? You see, Scott's Windows, he's refusing to update to the latest version of Windows. He's just not having any of it. So he thought he'd worked around it with Linux, but it's not looking so good, Joe. No.
So this whole thing with fairies, right?
I'm go for it, man.
I'm kind of intrigued by all of it because I myself am finding it a little bit like, I don't know.
It's a stretch for me as well, dude. It is a stretch for me, big time. Oh, huge time. But then if we're opening our minds to the supernatural and the paranormal, I maybe just won't dismiss it off the bat right away. That's all I'm going to go. I haven't seen any. I don't think I'll ever see any, no matter how many times I walk up and down the Fairy Glen. But what we're going to show you today from, well, we've got an incoming. We've got an incoming in a second from Just a Guy, Shannon. Big shout out to you, brother. Honestly, bro, I don't know how I'd keep going without Shannon out there. But folks, if you want to help the stream, do what Shannon done. You can get a super chat. Just click the $sign, or you can go to the PayPal link in the description and cut out that.
But do what Shannon does.
Yes, yo, Kev and crew. Let's get the weekend started. Smoke 'em if ya got 'em. Blow some big clouds. Hello to all my chat lovers. Let's all rock it. Brown chicken, brown cow. Scotty's here. Woo.
Brown chicken, brown cow. Indeed. But yeah, I mean, all fairies aside, if this was just any set of woods, right, with no fairy stories attached to it, I showed you a bit of the footage earlier, guys. That's some weird shenanigans going on. And it fits, right? Because we're going to be starting at Crowley's house. We'll take a little look around that, see what all the fuss is about. But that's a weird heap of shenanigans, Joe, what was going on in that forest, what we've seen in that Facebook video, right? Yes, Joe.
My Skype just froze.
Oh,
I
dear.
missed all of that.
Wow.
Oh, Scotty's did too, yeah.
We've got strange shenanigans going on. I hope everyone out there, I'm going to see if they can still hear us in the chat room. Send us some smoke signals, folks, if you can hear us.
Anne's just lost internet too, so it like I said, it was kind of crazy.
So what you're saying is it could just be me here after like the next 10 minutes or so. Is that what you're saying, Joe?
I'm just crazy.
Maybe it's the fairies.
Could be fairies. Could be the internet fairies.
It could be the
connectivity fairies. The technical fairies.
Technical fairies, indeed, my friend. Indeed.
You know, what did they call them? What were they notorious for? They called them gremlins. The ones that got into your. Oh, thank you. Yes, close up. Very good.
We lost Scott.
This is crazy. Everything's going nutso right now.
Well, don't do this to me. Hopefully we'll get Scott. I didn't do anything. Scott dropped out the call, dude.
No, I just crashed my camera stuff.
Drag my pick into the box.
Okay, there. Oof.
Your pick isn't even there, Scott. That's all good. It's all good.
What the hell's going on?
It's all good. We'll reshape you, Joe. Well, you know, there's never a dull moment on the KBS stream, right? Never a dull moment. Joe, that's all blurred out because of your camera effect, you absolute nut job.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we are going to get into Boleskine House after I resize Joe, at least make him look semi-human if I can. I know that's a bit of a tall order when it comes to Joe, I get that, but there we go, there we go. Honestly, guys, honestly, we'll get there in the end. But yeah, Joe, before we get to the footage of Boleskine, right, I'll get that queued up here. I mean, you personally, would you have gone back there after what had happened to me the first time? There he is, there's Scotty Lopez.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay.
Yes. Wow.
Wow.
We like that, Joe. We like that.
Okay, so if I do have this issue, I will just have to drop out and come back in real fast. So
it's okay. It's okay. It's just the fairies. It's the fairies. We shouldn't have been like abusing the fairies.
No. It's not the fairies. It's Mercury retrograde.
Don't get into Mercury blooming retrograde again. Here we go. Right. So I'm going to put this down onto here. Hang on a little second. We'll resize that down into the corner. And then we'll get into the old Crowley footage. So if I turn this on here.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, here we go, boys and girls. So I'll play this just now. So like I was saying, Joe, would you have been keen to go back to the scene of the crime, as they say?
No.
No?
Nah, I'd probably avoid it.
Back, but not going in.
I didn't go in, remember? Would you not even have gone up to it?
No.
No?
No.
And
especially not after what happened to you.
And now Joe's camera's going all messed up. This is going to be one of those nights. What about you, Scott? Come on, Scott. Crowley's house. Would you have taken a jaunt there?
I don't know if I would have went back, man. You got balls of titanium to want to go and tempt fate once again.
It was kind of weird, right? It was kind of weird because it wasn't planned or anything. It was really kind of last minute kind of stuff. And I don't know, it was weird, but I'm glad I went, put it that way. I am glad I went. We'll turn it up here in a second because I start to look in the window in a little second. And I grow a set of balls and I start looking for Ooga Boogas.
Ooh.
You see how that there? See in the background, like you've got the wallpaper and stuff, Scott. Right, keep that in mind, right? Keep that kind of how the state of the house in mind for what you're about to see when you get to the actual damaged part.
Hello?
I don't know what I'd have done if someone had shouted hello back.
Hello.
See, this is the bit you come round here and you'll recognise it because Jimmy Page's photograph, he got his famous photo taken out the front of this place, right?
It was, eh?
But it's about to get renovated, folks, and that's why we went back up, because as we're going to show in a minute, it's not just that they're renovating this place, it's all done in conjunction with the Order Templar Ordiatus, the OTO, which Crowley was a part of. And I'll show you that they've got I've got a quote from them, and they're really excited about this because, Scott, they're saying for the first time ever, they're going to be gaining access to this very, very
right. Yeah, it's
important
going to be
property.
almost like a sacred site,
Yeah,
if you would. Right?
yeah. Check this out, though, right? Because here we go, Joe. Look at this. You need to see it. Look at the devastation there, right? I mean, you can see the place is ravaged. Absolutely.
Well, of course.
Right? Well, watch this.
That's what happens when there's a fire.
Then look at that. See the wallpaper up there?
Yeah.
Everything just stops, dude. And as I showed Scott, you were away a second ago. I mean, that room we've seen, everything's been thrown in that room, Scott, right? But if you see pictures of when this fire was blazing and things, it's not natural. And you come to find that just in here on the right-hand side, that was the bedroom that myself and my brother went to. And that's the one. That's the one where he was doing his hocus pocus stuff.
But still, I mean,
it's weird, dude. It's like it's almost you'd have to be there to appreciate it, because if you could clear that bit out.
I guess my question is the house itself is basically gutted, is it not? Yeah.
Yeah, totally gone, man.
It's nothing like it used to be.
No. Absolutely not.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
So even if they do restore it, there's not going to be much of the original left anyway, you know what I mean? But does that really matter?
No, because it's the ground that it's on, and it's the
it's kind of like the
stuff
energy
that was done. Yeah, the energy
right.
that's there, So it doesn't necessarily matter
No.
if the house is there or not. You're now just in a location that has this energy and whatever
See,
portals.
this is where it starts to get a bit. I don't know.
This is going to be the school of Crowley, yeah? Nuts.
Wow, there's like nothing left of it.
Feels different than when we were here. I don't know if it's a good different or a bad different.
Weird
Booga booga.
different.
It's a pretty big place.
Yeah.
This place is no good, man. Something no right about here.
It's just a really weird place. It truly is. And then we've got this here. I'll read this out while that's still playing. And it says that it talks about Boleskine House, stuff like that. And it says Crowley himself, when he was choosing the location, this is why he done it. Said in 1899, Alistair Crowley purchased the house from the Fraser family, apparently in order to make the most of its secluded position and undertake the Abramelin ritual. Crowley wrote, quote, "The first essential for the ritual is a house in a more or less secluded situation. There should be a door opening to the north from the room of which you make your auditory. Outside this door, you construct a terrace covered with fine river sand. This ends in a lodge where the spirits may congregate." And that fine river sand was basically a tester to show how the magic was going, because he was summoning a number of demons, and allegedly the fine sand would show whether he'd been successful or not, because you'd be able to see footprints left in the sand.
Wow. Pretty
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, pretty weird. And it says here that when Jimmy Page bought it, he never really stayed in it. And his friend, it was somebody called, can't get his name here, but it says initially a skeptic, Dent experienced paranormal phenomena and spent what he referred to as the most terrifying night of his life at Boleskine. He described a sound like a wild animal outside the door all night, and Dent evidently had the nerves of steel because he not only remained at the house, he actually brought his entire family up there.
Wow.
And then to wrap
Dude,
it
I wonder
all
if it was like The Shining.
that's what it's like. Sounds like this. This
It
is
must be. It must be like The Shining, like the
You would
whole
think so,
Jack
man.
Nicholson losing his mind there. If he brought his family, could you imagine?
It's funny you mention The Shining because I hadn't thought about that film for so long until the other day when Ryan Gable, and Ryan's going to be on the stream here with us tomorrow night, folks. But he was talking about this pop star Billie Eilish, and in one of her videos, it's very reminiscent of the corridor in The Shining, and she's possessed and all this crazy stuff. But this last piece here about Crowley, and this is from the OTO, and their website states that, quote, the new owners have confirmed to us that they wish to restore the house and eventually open parts of the house and its surrounding gardens to the public as a heritage landmark. The new owners wish to honour Crowley's legacy as part of the estate's history, and they intend to cooperate with the OTO to provide opportunities for access to the house and land in a way which has hitherto not been possible. The new owners intend to transfer ownership of the estate to a public charity so that it can be preserved for many generations to come. OTO intends to cooperate with the charity in the coming weeks, months, and years as this exciting project gets underway. Private fundraising efforts have been launched to help start the renovation, and once the public charity is established, the formal agreement has been reached. OTO will provide an opportunity for interested parties to make US tax-exempt donations specifically dedicated to support this project in full compliance with non-profit rules and regulations. And no funds from the OTO's operating budget, i.e. member dues, fees, or general donations, will be allocated to the project. So you're basically looking at a new centre or a new kind of ritual site for the OTO.
Yeah, and a pretty historic one at that, and a very active one too. I mean, phew, they couldn't have picked a better site to do their kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Exactly, dude.
It's right in line with it.
Exactly, man. And it's weird. And I suppose growing up in the Highlands, I didn't really appreciate just how much weirdness and paranormal stuff was around me. But whether it's the ley lines or whatever the hell it is, I seriously don't know what's going on up there. And I don't attribute it all to Crowley, what he was getting up to. I don't think he helped matters much, but I think there's a natural energy, something weird going on there anyway. Look at Loch Ness, Scott, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And didn't you say that they're supposed to be making this thing like a wellness center, and they're going to have people doing meditation and yoga and all kinds of like
Weirdness.
interesting sort of, new agey kind of stuff out there that kind of opens up your mind and opens you up to certain things. And
Strange.
yeah. I think when we talked about this last time, to me, it seems like they're going to be trying to recruit people that really don't understand the back history of the place. You know what I mean? You're going to have like the OTO kind of running this operation out of there and suckering a lot of people in with a lot of this kind of new agey talk that sounds nice on the surface. And then these people get involved in it. They start going up there, they start practicing these, rituals or whatever, these ceremonies. And, I wonder how many people they're going to bring in, that don't even know the back history of Aleister Crowley or don't even understand what the OTO is. They just think they're going to this wellness center and meditating and doing
Not
some
only that, I
yoga
mean,
and
Fort Augustus, the village I come from, used to be a population of 800. Feels like there's a population of about 1,600 now because, and I'm not criticising anyone, but you've got the Polish people there. You've had an influx, a real influx of people to the area. So you've got this whole new population new to that area that probably have little to no idea about things
Yeah.
like this, you know?
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. And then they can kind of spew some nice marketing towards them. Come out here, it's a wellness center. And they really are not filling them in on what actually took place there. And so I think it's a way of kind of that they're going to get people out there to start focusing their energy on stuff. I can already see them like having people repeat mantras and stuff that
Well,
Crowley
Scott,
probably.
if you want to go and help them clean out the mess that you can see in some of these photographs, there's actually a Facebook event, a Boleskine house clearance. It's happening in August. All you need to do is volunteer. You can go, Joe. You can clear out Boleskine house, dude. Not of Ooga Boogas, just of all the rubbish that you see in there,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for it.
I
Yeah.
think Bill Bean's the only...
Matter of fact, you go ahead. You go first, and then I'll be right behind you.
As I say in the video at one
we're
point...
gonna have the Boleskine house garage sale.
Yeah, the garage. There's nothing. What are you gonna sell?
I tell you, man, the only person that should be going there is Bill Bean. That's what that house needs. A good kind of visit from Bill Bean.
Even then, I mean,
But
oof.
you want some weirdness, and they talk about rituals and things there, and you were talking about yoga and stuff like that, Scott. And I don't criticize yoga, but I know that there's people that...
No.
But we can combine everything in this Facebook video that we've got, right? Now, this Facebook video, let me set it up for people because it's thanks to somebody called Janie Kirk. And Janie Kirk just happens to have her own show on Sky TV on channel 376, FreeSat on 516, and it's on Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Now, that's all I had to do to get an agreement where I could show you this footage tonight, folks. Now, this is weird. And to set this up, the location we're talking about is somewhere called Dunino or Dunino Den, the site of pagan worship, which still attracts people looking for the fairies.
And reptilians. Don't forget the reptilians.
I think they might have been trying to conjure reptilians. We're going to see it, dude. But it says, believed by many to be haunted by fairies and other creatures of Celtic legend, the Dunino Den and its surrounding features definitely create a supernatural atmosphere. So with that said, let's take a little look at the video in question, because this is weird. This isn't the typical thing you see in a Scottish forest, okay?
Ouch. Right.
When you go down to the woods today.
Ooga booga, ooga booga, ooga booga. That's all I can just see, like these
I thought
ogres
we
go
were going to the
ooga
beach.
ooga.
I didn't realise we were coming with the jagged nettles and tick bites and
We'll go a bit further in, hang on.
That? It's a fairy.
Here we go.
look at this.
A
Oh, we'll
blood-sucking
go down
fatty.
there. Oh,
Bear in mind, this was an ancient pagan druid site,
go
you
and
know?
have a wee look at them.
Could you imagine,
See
like,
this?
it was
Is
all...
this not where the kneeling thing? See this? It's kind of filled with water now. See that hole? And this is the bit where they used to. Is that where they put? Is that where they knelt? They used to kneel here, and would behead it into there, and they got thrown over the cliff.
Oof.
What are they doing?
Human sacrifice.
Camping?
Wow,
Oh, no,
cool.
they're singing.
Look, here we go. Look.
There's something going on. What the fuck? What the Dane? Oh, it's like a.
They're just all standing there. That's creepy in
There's like a
itself.
bunch of them, dude.
There's people praying down there. Let's go.
Now, we need people that speak French because we believe it's French they're speaking.
I'm going for.
It gets weirder, folks. Remember, middle of Scotland, a place famous for fairies, people getting their heads cut off, and then you come across a bunch of loon balls in the forest that are getting up to this. Wait till you see it.
What
See
the
me with
hell?
the camera and they're going to go, get her away from you. Oh, they're all quiet.
Watch for the reaction of these people in this like group as well. That it's uncanny. It's out of place. It's wrong. And this was obviously an ancient site. Look at the steps going down to it, you know.
I'm going to put my phone down a wee bit more.
She's going undercover, boys. Undercover. Here she goes. Go, Janie. Check these people out, look.
What the? Who the?
None of them even acknowledge that there's somebody there.
They're so messy.
What the hell's going on?
Come on.
How bizarre is this? But it gets worse.
Wait.
Yeah, wait.
à opérer. Les 3 premiers branchements, les 3 premiers foudres, d'où une couronne, au dos une personnelle. Veuillez produire les 3 premiers arcs de foudre.
This is the weirdest kind of thing I've ever.
That's the weirdest thing I've. Yeah, what's up with the French thing?
Veuillez tenir votre papier dans votre main gauche et vous irez chercher le cadran foudre.
Check the Ligatna Rehabilitation Center, Latvia. Went this year, except it's not a wellness center. Link in chat, in an area with a witchcraft history.
Nice, Bison, nice.
Et de là, vous tirerez un fil jusqu'au cadran foudre de votre dos.
So what do we think, boys? Do we think it's like some kind of druid thing going on there, maybe?
It could be. It could be, but I mean, like, they didn't even acknowledge
No.
those ladies at all.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
the-
weird.
Yeah, it's like they
That's the
didn't
weirdest
even
part of it.
see them.
Trying to be respectful by not coming. What is it?
It's like they're in a trance or something.
Look at them all, man. It's like some creepy cult kind of stuff going on there, boys.
Yeah, something. Yeah, look at them. They're all reading that book.
I think they're modern druids.
Yeah, druids.
I think you might be right, Janie. I think you might be right. And that there, folks, like I say, that was from Janie Kirk, who's got her own kind of country and western show on Sky TV. And that is, oh, where did I put it? It's channel. I'll find it for you in a minute, folks. I'll get it back. Here it is. Channel 5, no, Sky 376. And on Freesat, it's 516. And that's on Wednesdays at 11 p.m. And I know my mum will probably like that 'cause she's into her country western. But look how weird this is.
Yeah, it is very weird. Very weird. But,
Yeah.
but you know, like I said, if it's at druid stuff, I believe it. Speaking of, ugh. Yeah, it looks like some sort of druid ceremony or whatever.
Maybe they're waiting to get raptured or something, dude.
You think?
I don't know. It's just
Could be.
weird, right?
Well, I mean, it would make sense using that site, though.
Yeah.
Especially if it's druids, you know, because
It does say it's an ancient druid site. It does. I'm just
Okay.
getting the name of this place that Bison gave us. We're going to check this out. The
I've heard of that. I've heard of-
Ligatny.
Yes.
You heard of that,
I've
Joe?
heard of that place, but the background story eludes me.
The Rehabilitation Centre says the Legatney Rehabilitation Centre offers complex medical rehabilitation and spa programs and accommodation services with or without caring. Medical treatment courses include evaluation and functional abilities, the setting of rehabilitation targets. So I think we'll probably have to look at the place itself. Is it in somewhere? I take it's called Legatney, yeah? Let's search that.
It all depends on like who's running the rehabilitation center and how they go about.
If I remember right, it had to do with blood or mud. I can't remember something. It had to do with the mud in that area is I can't remember. Gosh darn it! It was years ago that I heard of it.
Right, there we go. Hang on now. Here we go. I've got the link from Bison. This looks a good one. The secret Soviet power bunker in Latvia, a hiding place for the elite. And it says deep in the pine forests of the Baltic lurks a secret 1980s military bunker intended as an escape for... I don't know if I can be reading this out with my kind of Kremlin connections going on, dude. If I end up getting like Novichoked over this down in a Salisbury chip shop or something, I'm coming for you, Bison. Well, I won't be able to, but I'll be Novichoked, you know. But it says that the Russian political masters should be there, or should there be a nuclear strike. So it says the road is quietly marked off the 2-lane highway that cuts through Latvia's Gauja National Park, an endless realm of skyscraping pine. Why do we always end up talking about forests again? Always. It always comes back to forests. It
always comes back to the forest, yeah.
So it loops like a shoelace past a cluster of forgotten storefronts and a crumbling brick factory once used to mint Estonian currency. And of course, Estonia is now Estonia. Yeah, they probably don't have any physical currency anymore. So it says at the top of a hill, a gentle glade gives way to a large structure made from metal and glass, built in an unforgivably drab Bauhaus mashup that was briefly in vogue during the latter part of the Soviet era. So by the sounds of it, this has got some history, this place, right? Apart from the nuclear bunker, there's probably some woo as well. Bison's always a good source of woo.
So it was a former Soviet nuclear bunker, and now they've converted it into a wellness center? Is that
yeah,
is that the same
it says
place?
Here, the Legatney Rehabilitation Centre is a seemingly prosperous, if not forlorn, place where patients with arthritic symptoms can convalesce in the quiet of the forest. Nurses in white pillbox hats gently push their patients around in wheelchairs, and others rest under the shade of a tree, cigarettes in hand. And although palliative techniques are practiced in earnest today, the entire complex was constructed as a front for one of the most crucial and strategic hideouts during the height of the Cold War. Wow. A bunker for for some of the most senior members of the Soviet Union and 250 of their comrades. Known by its codename Rest House, the underground base was completed in 1982 with the finest Soviet technology of the time and was meant to withstand both nuclear and chemical bombardment. Now, if an attack by American forces had indeed occurred before the fall of the Soviet Union, the man in charge of the secret lair was intended to be Boris Pugo, cool name, one of the most prominent first secretaries of his time. In fact, Pugo was such an ardent communist that while the USSR was on the precipice of collapse, he was manning the stormy seas of Minister of Interior Affairs. Even the stalwart Pugo was pivotal in organizing the August coup of 1991 to seize power back from Gorbachev, which ended in failure. So I take it this is where the Russian elites were all going to run out if this was the day, right?
I see. Yeah, that's right.
That's what it sounds like.
It reminds me of that bunker in Virginia that it's like a museum now, but or they open it for tours. But that was where a lot of members of Congress would go. That's basically where members of Congress would go, and that's where they would convene if Washington was attacked. They would go to that bunker, and I can't remember. I'm going to find it.
Do they not just like get on that
It's
kind of?
underneath a hotel. It's underneath a hotel.
Do they not get on like the underground maglev train and head for Cheyenne Mountain and the Stargate?
It's not. Yeah, well, no, it's not Cheyenne Mountain. Although Cheyenne Mountain is one of those places. Let's see, hotel bunker.
Definitely one of these places where they could have like continuity of
West
government.
Virginia. There it is. Hold on, I'll get it.
Big shout out to my kid brother, Kenny, and Greg. They're watching just now. They were actually, my mum's actually messaged as well. She says, we actually listen to the Janie Kirk country show often. So there you go. Small world, yes.
Hey, Kev, check this out.
Yes, Joe.
So this is the bunker that Congress never used. Right here.
Okay, we're going there now. Boom.
In a groundbreaking series of reports in 2010, Washington Post reporter Bill Arkin and Dana Priest revealed the 33 building complexes for
Wellness Center is a disguise bunker underneath.
Awesome. So it's all just a front. Wellness Center, my bahookie. There's a secret hatch somewhere, man.
I know, right. Now listen to this. It says here that 33 building complexes for top secret intelligence work are under construction.
33.
In Washington, D.C.
33.
33.
Had to be 33 with Washington, right?
And the surrounding area since September 2001. Now, before that building boom, however, another secret bunker lay in wait for the apocalypse behind a giant reinforced steel door. For 30 years, it was kept secret. Hidden in West Virginia's Greenbrier Resort was a massive bomb shelter stocked with supplies for members of Congress in case of an emergency. The Greenbrier Resort and Bunker says, welcome to Capitol Hill the day after. Except this isn't Washington. It's a giant concrete box nestled into a hillside in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. The story of how the bunker was kept secret for 30 years and how it got even got here is stranger than any conspiracy theory. For one thing, it was built as an addition to one of America's most famous luxury resort, the Greenbrier Resort in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Bankers, industrialists, by the way, Angie and I got married there. Bankers, industrialists, and not there personally. It was a natural bridge, but it was
admit it was Bohemian Grove under the moonlight at the Owl.
And it says bankers, industrialists, and government advisors all hobnobbed at the resort, unknowingly right next door to the post-apocalyptic bunker. And when the Greenbrier official historian Bob Conti arrived in 1978, locals started badgering him about questions. He says, why is there a 7,000-foot landing strip for a town of 3,000 people? He recounts to All Things Considered weekend host Guy Raz. Mostly, he told them there was no such thing. Not that it was so the government could fly their own people here in case of a war and go to the bunker that's under the Greenbrier. This thing is, Conti didn't really know anything about it. He knew every square inch of the Greenbrier property. He had access to all records and documents and historic photos of presidents and kings and prime ministers drinking mint juleps on the veranda. But just a few yards from Conti's own office was the reinforced bunker that would house every member of the House and Senate in the event of nuclear Armageddon.
So this is like the Legatney then. It's a front for this, what's going on behind it, right? There's a front.
Exactly. Listen to this. Behind the 3-foot thick concrete walls is a space about the size of a Walmart. The air intake system is so intricate, it was meant to filter out radiation. That it creates a vacuum-like effect when you walk in. Wind howls around you and sucks all the doors shut. The sleeping quarters include rows of metal bunk beds. All they have for private items that you could lock up were a small locker or a small drawer right underneath the beds. You couldn't put your personal items here, Conti said. For 30 years, every one of those 1,100 beds was assigned to somebody. Now, to understand why and even how this bunker was built right under the noses of America's vacationing aristocrats, you have to go back to the mid-50s when a whole industry built around the construction of fallout shelters started taking off. And in the 1950s, President Eisenhower started to worry about how to maintain law and order in America in the aftermath of a nuclear war. So what did they do? He says, I felt impelled to speak today in a language that, in a sense, is new, one which I, who have spent so much of my life in military profession, would have preferred never to use. The new language is the language of atomic warfare.
Booga booga.
Shuga booga.
Indeed.
Now, Eisenhower decided the Greenbrier would be a perfect cover for a congressional bunker. And in 1958, government workers broke ground on what they call Project Greek Island. Oh. It was just about a 4-hour drive from Washington. Hotel workers and guests were told the giant hole in the ground would house a new conference facility. In fact, it would, or at least part of it would. Now, in the 30 years, thousands of people walked in and out of a secret bunker not knowing that they were in a secret bunker.
How cool is that?
The original design. Yeah. Conti said...
It just shows the power of compartmentalization, right?
Totally, dude. It says you would have the West Virginia Medical Association meeting here, and a lot of car companies have met here over the years, he says. Now, down another corridor is a room that was to be the floor of the House of Representatives. There were microphones, Connie says. You can see the little metal attachments there on the back seats. They would attach microphones there because they would have recorded all sessions of Congress. This is a big communication center in here. Now, there were a few weird coincidences that Connie noticed before the bunker's existence was exposed by the Washington Post in 1992. For one, there were many bathrooms, and most of them were for men.
Toxic bunker.
Another thing.
My kind of place, man.
Both Gerald Ford and Hubert Humphrey were frequent guests of the Greenbrier when they served in Congress. Connie found out later that they would have been among the few people in the world who knew about the bunker. And finally, there was a mysterious crew of TV technicians who worked at the hotel but didn't work for the hotel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bison in the chat is saying this is like in Latvia as well. The workers at that site.
And surmises that it may have been actually a gay bathhouse.
It could be.
All those male bathrooms.
Bison's saying over in Latvia as well, the people working at the place he was at, no idea the kind of history, no idea what was going on at that place either, you know?
Yeah. Now, today, the part of the bunker is a tourist attraction. Another part is used as a secure data storage facility.
Oh.
Had it not been exposed in 1992, there's a good chance this would still be the secret home of Congress. But now that secret home is somewhere else, Denver Airport. And like the last one, just a handful of, it's Mount, Mount Weather. Mount Weather.
Yeah. That's in the TV show, The 100. Recommend that show to anyone. Brilliant show. Right. Brilliant.
It makes you wonder how many of these facilities actually exist.
Scott Lopez.
There's got to be like 50 of them.
Scott Lopez, you stole it clean out of my head, man. I'm thinking, just how many places do we take for granted it is what it says on the door, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or how many of these places have you possibly like been to and not even known it? You know what I mean? Like you're staying at a hotel somewhere, some swanky hotel, and you're like, oh yeah, and then you have no idea that underneath is like some huge facility that
you get in an elevator.
Secret facility.
In this case, it was incorporated into the hotel.
It's cool, man.
So you were in it and you didn't even know it.
It's awesome.
Wow.
I mean, it was
basically hidden in plain sight.
In plain sight, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
That's weird, man.
Wild.
But like Scott says, I mean, you've got Elon Musk, as much as I love him, he's making his tunnels all over the place, right?
Yeah.
There could easily be something kind of hidden with that as a front for what's going on, really.
Yeah, and you got to look. I mean,
he works on government contracts, Scott.
Yeah, he gets government contracts. So,
yeah.
If there was anyone to set something like that up and build something that would be a front for something much deeper and something
Now
much
that he's
more
threatening
secret.
to take us all into the Borg, he's fair game. As much as I love him, he's fair game,
There was a great TED talk about his. He was doing a TED talk, and I think it was 2017, and he was talking about digging the tunnels under Los Angeles and the 3D tunnel systems. And basically, he says the goal is to beat Gary the Snail and SpongeBob.
We're back to
Seriously.
SpongeBob.
He says that they did some sort of study and figured out how fast Gary the Snail could go. And he says the goal is to make the boring machine beat Gary the Snail. And it's as fast as Gary goes.
That dude has got too much time on his hands, man. You know what I like about the machine, Joe? The fact it takes the dirt and then processes it and spits
into bricks.
Yeah. Affordable bricks.
Yeah, but even more so than that was, he's talking about how you can get like a factor of 10 savings and all of that, and the way he does it, and he basically does it by shrinking the size of the tunnel, and using these sleds instead, like kind of maximizing the space.
Yep.
And taking the human error out of a lot of things, I guess you could say.
Did you notice there's a video where he takes a news crew on one of the journeys under LA, and it goes up to about 60 miles per hour or something. I think it only does 30 for the demonstration, but because it's on like tracks, it just takes off, man, and you see the reporter, she's whoa, pinned to the chair.
Yeah, well, the goal he says is for them to go 200 kilometers an hour, or about 130 miles an hour.
It's like one of these old tubes you used to have in the bank for firing the money and things. Like, is that a pneumatic tube?
Well, no, that's the hype. Now that's the Hyperloop. That's the vacuum charged one, right? Now this would be like, what you do is you'd be in LA, and you'd have like a kind of like a pull off, and your car would pull off, and then it would be an elevator that drops down, and you'd go down to the tube entrance, and then you'd actually, like, your car would land on a sled.
Yep.
And the sled would take you to wherever the heck you were going.
Yeah, because that's what it shows you in that demonstration. He's on the sled thing. It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
It's unbelievable, yeah.
No,
yeah.
It is. Right, before we forget, let's get back to the creepy Highlands, right? Because I went to Clava Cairns, and this is kind of cool. I'm only going to show a little bit of the daytime footage just to show you what was going on there. But it's the nighttime audio that's really, really weird. So, like I say, this is Clava Cairns. It's up the north of Scotland, and it was made famous by a TV show and a book called Outlander. And the major character in the book goes up to one of the stones you're going to see in this video, puts a hand on it, and it's like a Stargate, right? Transports her in time or dimensions or something. Yeah, I'll admit it, I've not even read the book. I've not even watched the show. It's on my to-do list. I will get there. But like I say, we went there at the weekend, and it's the first time I've ever been to the location. And you know, sometimes you have this kind of locations built up. People tell you they're going to be brilliant and all the rest of it. But in reality, they never quite pan out to be what you thought it would. Well, this isn't one of those locations, because this really didn't disappoint at all. I'll just get this sized up a bit here, folks, before we play it. And bring that here. Yep. And this is supposed to be a 4,000-year-old site. And I'm not going to get into the numbers. We could sit and throw numbers about all day. But the thing is, they describe it as a burial site. And I don't know, I'm no expert, but it didn't feel much like a burial site to me. So you can kind of see, well, I'll fast forward it a little bit here. And this is one of the major kind of cairns in the place. And as you'll see in a moment, it's not just a big pile of stones. There's a passageway, and you can walk into the middle of it. And they say, like I said, Scott, 4,000 years ago, the Picts, they were using this place ceremonially to bury the dead. And then over time, over the course of time, other civilizations came along, settled in the area, and they used the site as well. So there's been multiple kind of things going on at this one site. But as you can even see, there's a lot of stones sticking out of the ground, obviously, and that's the major attraction. But as you're walking, all you can feel is stones under your feet as well. So there's so much at this place waiting to be uncovered. And I'm sorry, Scott, but I'm not buying that there is a burial site, especially when you see in a moment that you can walk into the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, we were talking about it yesterday on Freaky Friday, and no, I don't think it's a burial site. And not only that, I mean, they haven't dug up. There haven't been any remains or bones found there, right?
No.
Yeah. So I mean, how are they?
And that
how
there,
are they
see what I'm showing here? This is like the big stones. There's 12 of them round it. 12, like as in 12 months. It's a calendar of some kind.
Yeah. So I mean, how is it that they can conclude that it's a burial site when they haven't dug up any sort of remains or found any remains, bones or anything there? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
And you're right.
here,
I mean, it looks more like an astrological calendar.
yeah, this stone here, this is the Stargate one. This is the one that they all rave about. You know, people come and get their photograph taken at it. The thing is absolutely ginormous. It's twice the height of me. Twice the height, easily. And it says here, set within the Balnahuran of Clava, a beautiful wooded area. The ancient Clava Cairns are a group of Bronze Age cairns and standing stones near Inverness. They're about 4,000 years old, so this burial ground is one of the oldest, well-preserved sites.
Big-ass tombstone.
It's not, though, because it's part of, like...
It's a giant tombs. It's probably like one of those 500-foot tall giants. You're at his burial tomb or something.
I'm telling you, we'll get into the giants in a moment, but it says here, the three ancient cairns make up the oldest part of the cemetery, dating from around 2000 BC. A circle of standing stones surrounds each one, and they run in a line northeast to southwest. The outer structures are passage graves. This is because they each have an entrance passage in the inner chamber, which is aligned to the southwest, and the central cairn is a ring cairn as it has no entrance. So it says the layout of the cairn suggests a link with the midwinter sun, no shit, which sets in the southwest, and the tallest stones face in that direction. Exactly, because it's not a burial site. They're looking at the sun. Aligning stones with the rising and setting of the sun was an important practice in ancient Scotland and Britain.
Yeah, and it had everything to do with burial rites. Come on.
This was like an ancient thing everywhere. It wasn't just kind of confined to Britain, folks. And it says it can be seen in many other monuments, including the famous Stonehenge. Only a few bodies would have been placed here. And although we don't know who was buried within these cairns, so we're guessing then. It's just purely guessing. We don't know who's here.
That's awful.
Historians believe they would have been significant people. Perhaps.
This is about as accurate as Egyptology.
It's bad, isn't it? It says in around 1000 BC, another group of people used the cemetery, and they reused the existing cairns and then built an additional 3 monuments, including a curb ring cairn. This spectacular site of Scottish history has become vastly more popular with tourists since the release of the Outlander books and TV series. The Clava Cairns is said to have inspired the fictitious Craig na Dun standing stones, which sent the main character Claire back in time. So yeah, this is Clava Cairns, folks, and I'm working on putting a bigger video together. But one bit I do want to kind of fast forward to, because it's got much relevance of what we're doing here right now. See if I can find it. It should just be back here a bit. Turn it up. We'll see.
They're all been
The size of these things.
years ago for building, not realising what they were doing.
No. I wonder what it looked like if it was fully done.
They're going way up, you know, they're high.
That is some size of stone.
It's huge, absolutely huge.
Oh, aye. Joe Joseph, I bet you'd be thinking these are the Giants building this, wouldn't you?
Ah.
Yes. See, even my mum, you hear her in the background there shouting, Joe would be loving it here. And I'm thinking, oh, Joe would be doing my nutting right now. He'd be telling me, Kev, this is the Nephilim, dude.
Oh, dude, it's totally the Nephilim.
Does that make them the Mick Nephilim since they're Scottish?
They were everything.
Come on, Mick Nephilim, that was funny. You guys are a hard audience. You're a hard audience to please, man. You truly are.
Nephilim.
But that was fine, okay? We went there during the day. That was cool.
And but yeah, you had to go back at night.
Yeah, so we thought, what's a good thing to do at night? We'll go back to Clava Cairns. Now you can't.
But did Pearl also go?
She certainly did, yes.
Oh my god!
You know, she's that much of an intrepid ghost hunter. They went out tonight.
I had no idea that she was that into that.
And they have night vision goggles now.
I see where you get it from now.
Yes, I get it from her, yes. It's in the genetic code.
Kev, my mom said that she needs to meet your mom because I think they would get along quite well.
It's just swimmingly, yes.
Swimmingly well, right. I'll make this smaller. So, yeah, we decide. We'd been to Crowley's during the day. We'd got our paranormal kind of head on. And we thought, well, why don't we go to Culloden Battlefield? I mean, what better place than the site of thousands of dead people in a big battle hundreds of years ago? But we couldn't get in there. So then we thought, well, how about we go back to the Standing Stones? It was a nice feeling during the day. Oh man, we got back there. This was like the darkest of dark nights, and it's set within trees. So it's in the middle of nowhere. You're not walking there. There was no cars in the car park. We got there. It was darker than a dark thing. And then we're walking along, and we're kind of just, Kenny had the ghost box out. He was trying to get stuff working on that. Don't know whether I believe that ghost box on your phone or not. That's another thing. I believe that technology, sweeping frequencies, can do it. But whether you can get it on your iPhone or not, irrelevant. Because we turned that off. And then when we turned that off, we started to hear some weird shit going on. Weird shit. And Scott, I played this with you last night, didn't I? And you were kind of blown away by it because you do hear it. And it is kind of hard to hear the first time. But you're going to hear a couple of clicks and you'll see the camera zooming in and things. But then listen for something happening in the distance. But you'll hear us reacting to it. And then you're going to hear me talking and you'll definitely hear it the second time. So this is what was going on at midnight in the same place that you seen a minute ago. Yeah, that's the first one there. Right? I'm going to put it back. You hear click, click, and then you'll hear what is distinctly two stones hitting together in the background. And as Scott says, you can tell it's a distance away because it kind of reverberates. Here we go.
Yeah. Right there.
That was like a stone being thrown off a stone.
It's like stones.
And then, right there again.
And then you hear it there again. That one's
stones. It's like stones.
Now, at that point, you would think, wow, Kevin, the gang, they've got something. No, because, I don't know, we all decided, I think we all kind of shat ourselves, right? We didn't really know how to explain this because it was inexplicable. It was coming from the far side of the cairns where you couldn't see. It was just too dark. Nobody there. There's no way there could have been anyone there. It was too rhythmic. And then there's a big hunt going on at the moment close to where Clava Cairns is. It's a famous murder case from back in 1976. They're draining a quarry. They're looking for evidence, stuff like that. And bear in mind, this is midnight, Saturday into Sunday morning, in the Highlands, where you can't even go fishing on a Sunday because you'll offend the religious people up there. Nothing happens, right? Yet we decided it must be noise from that quarry, Joe. And I think we all just decided that because it was more comfortable than what was the logical answer, that we were hearing something going on in that cairn and there was nobody there to explain it, dude.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, I got to say. But did you hear anything else outside of that, or
we went back? We went back. We went away, and then when we were going away, we realised, you know what, we're daft because that was definitely nothing to do with what we thought it might have been. So we thought, well, we'll go back, went out, had a walk around with Kenny, shouted out, see if there was anything. Nothing happened, which made it even weirder.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. But the atmosphere changed at night. It was weirder at night. The dark does that. I get that, right?
It'll do that.
It will do that.
Well, because it messes with your senses. Because, you know, you don't have that depth definition. A lot of things aren't the same when you... I don't know. Darkness closes in around you.
It's weird.
It is. It's almost suffocating sometimes.
Yep. You're right. I mean, look at... I mean, that's the darkness of it there. That's the camera on recording. You couldn't see like 10 inches in front of your face. It was horrendous. And I don't know. Like I said to Scott last night, it didn't feel like there was some evil entity sitting there rubbing stones together. It felt more like you were hearing something from the past, like a replay, like some residual kind of shit going on.
Something residual?
Yeah, it didn't. There was nothing nastiness. It wasn't like the Crowley feeling or anything.
Yeah, I told Kev what it kind of sounds like is imagine when that thing was being built. Yeah. And people were picking, and those stones were being thrown on top of each other. That's almost the same kind of sound, you know?
Oh, so, maybe. Or perhaps it was when people were tied to the stones and were whipped with the cat o' nine tails.
Maybe the fairies were getting a bit rowdy, dude.
The fairies were whipping them with cats of nine tails.
You see? Fairies were getting rowdy, but we went to Loch Ness as well. Nothing to report, guys. I would love to sit here and say, now... The cream on the kind of cake, you know, I'll show you my Nessie footage. Nothing. Right.
You didn't get to ride on Nessie's back or anything?
I don't get to ride much these days at all, Scott, let alone Nessie's back. Yes, boom, boom. Ching. So, guys, come on. I've kind of taken up the first hour. Come on. What your thoughts on the paranormal Highlands? Any woo that we can get into? When you're coming over, Joe, for a stay at Boleskine.
I still think the sound that you got was pretty intriguing.
I think it is as well. We'll go back one more time for that because it was weird. I just really wish we'd stayed and investigated more as opposed to... I was going to
say, me too. Me too.
Yep.
That was like a stone being thrown off a stone.
It's like stones.
That's sizable stones, guys. That's sizable banging. It's hard to explain, but when you were there, that was a noise.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Hell yeah.
But I wouldn't put. See that place there. I don't know. I just don't put on par with Boleskine House.
No, but I still think that these ancient sites.
I don't imagine. I mean, I'm sure that.
It's nothing there. Like Boleskine House. But think about it, because they didn't just willy-nilly pick these sites when they were doing their calendars either. And you're probably looking at ley lines or something there. And then that does tie in. Sure. Yeah, it does tie in because you do get these energetic places, man. It's weird.
Yeah. No.
And also, I mean, think about it, Joe. I mean, you're dealing with a different type of energy than Boleskine.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Probably a much different because you're talking about something that's much more... I don't know.
And like Kev said, it didn't even feel nefarious. It didn't feel dark.
I was going to say not
like
dark.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't used for that purpose.
Yeah.
Whereas, Boleskine House is.
And I can't get into it, right? I can't get into it. We all know that myself, my brother, and somebody else, when we went, we all had crap to deal with in the months that followed. And we were going to do a live stream when I was up in Inverness. And I had to turn it off because let me just say that there's more shit going on at that house with people that have visited it. And it's similar. And it kind of adds weight to our suspicions that our bad luck came from that house. Because let's just say, without getting into details, we're not the only people that have had horrendous luck since being there.
Oh, I'm sure. So, because if you ask me, it's the same... the same demon, same energy, whatever you want to call it, that attaches itself to you when you go there.
Wonder what, I mean, I'll try and dig it up. I mean, this Abramelin magic, I mean, I keep on saying it was like the devil or the Dukes of Hell, but who exactly was he calling up?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Here we go. Web pages.
St.
It's
Louis
for-
Arch in the chat said that it was your giant stones clacking together, Kev.
It could well have been. Good call. Good call. I like
Maybe
that.
like some wildlife. Maybe it's a booby trap and you don't realize it, and some wildlife got in between them, and they go, bam, and that's it.
Wow,
And it's just
man.
like pale pink mist.
That's a bit kind of right. Here we go. Sacred Magic of Abramelin Index. Oh, I see sites like this put the creeps up me, man. It's like stuff you shouldn't be reading. How can we find out who he was? This is all like the full thing. An ancient ritual for contacting your guardian angel. I don't think it was a guardian angel that Crowley was calling up, but it says here.
Unless
No.
I don't know.
The sacred magic of Abramelin the Mage is a ritual for contacting one's own holy guardian angel, considered the one supremely important magical ritual by Aleister Crowley in the Golden Dawn. It has deeply shaped modern culture. The Book of the Sacred Magic of Abramelin the Mage is a European Kabbalistic grimoire or book of magic that purports to be a method whereby an individual can make contact with their holy guardian angel. It is attributed to the semi-mythological German Jewish figure Abraham of Worms. What a name, Joe. Abraham of the Worms.
Abraham of Worms?
Yeah, he was around in 1360 to 1460. Now, the earliest known manuscript, written in German, has been dated back to 1608, and 6 additional early manuscripts exist, many of which are incomplete. So it says the Book of Abramelin is regarded primarily as a guide for the conjuration of a holy guardian angel or spirit. Rooted in Jewish mysticism, the Abrahamic language of the text suggests that these spirits are biblical angels, and they serve as intermediaries with a singular, compassionate, and omnipotent God figure consistent with medieval Jewish idealizations. Later commentators like Aleister Crowley believed the process could be altered to conjure or construct an idealized entity based in any desired language and symbolism at the discretion of the conjurer. And Crowley himself performed the primary ritual of Abramelin twice. So it looks like he kind of hijacked a Kabbalah.
So he hijacked the method, I guess,
Yep.
right?
Well, it makes sense, right? If you're trying to conjure something from out there, here's a given method to get a holy guardian angel. So if you can just kind of bada bing, bada boom, change a few words, which are spells, as we know, then theoretically you could contact anything, right? That was his thinking.
I wonder now, and didn't he say that he was kind of like partially successful?
Yeah. Yeah, it says here the text is commonly separated into 3 books. The first primarily describes Abraham of Worms meeting with the Egyptian mage Abramelin and how he acquired his teachings. Makes you wonder, Merlin, Abramelin, Merlin, magician, could be the same character. The second book,
Much so, yeah.
which was a primary interest of Hermetic scholars like Crowley, outlines the Abramelin operation, a ritual process that lasts for 6 to 18 months. This is where the problem was, because he got called away to France on Golden Dawn duty. According to the text, when the ritual is undertaken properly, the process leads to communication with the holy guardian angel or spirit. The operation is traditionally believed to be derived from an ancient oral tradition of the Old Testament prophets and serves as a method for obtaining that sort of direct guidance from an infallible supernatural source. After contacting the spirit, the magician is instructed in binding or overcoming specific demons that represent hindrances between the practitioner and the idolized creator. So it does involve demons as well. You got to know what you're kind of working your way through there.
And Ryan in the chat said that Ryan in the chat said that he halted the ritual in Scotland and he never wrapped it up. So,
yeah, that's right. Yep, that was a story when I was growing up. That's why people said, "Oh, don't go near Crowley's place. It's still open."
So he opened up a portal, or he opened something up and never closed it back up.
Can you truly close it?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
and it says
a good
here,
question,
S.L. MacGregor Mathers was a notable enemy of Aleister Crowley, and though they once shared a close friendship, the Mathers functioning as Crowley's teacher for a time. During this period, the Abramelin magic would lay the foundation for all of Crowley's future exploration of the conjuration of supernatural beings. And that's what he was absolutely determined to do, to conjure up entities into this dimension. So it says within Thelema, Crowley's system of magic, and soon to be taught at Crowley's house again, the conjuration of a personal guiding spirit was an important step in the initiation to higher levels. Later, Crowley would claim that he discovered numerous methods that achieved the same result as the complicated Abramelin process, but they all remain symbolically and theoretically consistent with the Abramelin operation. The actual authorship of the Book of Abramelin is highly debated. Scholar and translator George Den believed that the author may have been Rabbi Yaakov Levi Molin, a 14th century German Talmudist, authority on Jewish law, composer, and rebuilder of communities ravished by the war. Others believe that it was truly written by Abraham of Worms, while some even claim that the similarly mythical alchemist Nicholas Flamel was the true source. And overall, the work is consistent with Kabbalistic and Goetic ritual practices of the time. Many modern Kabbalah practitioners believe that the initiates of the Abramelin era used the ritual as a tool to transform the mind into something more closely resembling the mind of God, like some tantric rituals from Tibetan Buddhism, and eventual visualizations of the holy guardian spirit may be more of a deeply meditative, transformative thought exercise than a literal summoning ritual. Ooga, booga, wooga. So there you go.
Yeah.
Weird, huh? Weird woo.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I had no
very,
idea
very
that's crazy. I personally, I don't think I'd have the gonads to do it.
Nothing like that, dude. Nothing. It's one thing. I mean, I've barely got the gonads to go to the guy's house where he was doing this stuff. I wouldn't be touching that myself.
Because you know what happens when you do.
Yeah. Big time.
Ryan said that he also did the same thing in Montauk in the early 1900s, where he may have opened something up and never completed, or closed it up properly, or
who's looking forward to tomorrow's show with Ryan already. We're gonna have Ryan here to take us into the world of Crowley, man.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes.
Yes, indeed. So there you go, guys. There you go. There's my journey through the Scottish weirdness.
That was fantastic.
And set to get weirder
Awesome
again.
stuff.
Yeah, I'd say it's set to get weirder again with Crowley's disciples descending on the Highlands. Still don't know who's bought it. Still no idea. They're remaining anonymous. See, if you weren't known, if you weren't a public figure, there would be no need to remain anonymous. So I suspect it's going to be a household name, and that might sound a bit out there, but bear in mind how many of these Hollywood cats and music industry people absolutely worship this guy like he was God.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
This is like Mecca to them.
I know.
I know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what kind of people end up showing up there. Like if you start seeing like
Jay-Z.
certain big names in Hollywood and music and all that.
You got Madonna. She's a big time Kabbalist.
Mm-hmm.
They all are.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're up at the wellness center doing yoga and meditating.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For their little retreats.
Yeah. And of course, Crowley was a spook as well. You know, you're moving about, rubbing shoulders with the elites in many countries back at that time. You were definitely tapped up by the spooks, and I don't even think it's like It's not even a secret, you know. It's no conspiracy. He was MI6 all the way.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. I think so. Yeah, it's one of those things, Joe. He was, you know.
Well, plus I think that didn't they say that his mind was being eaten up by syphilis too because of the diseases he had?
Yeah, a lot of his magic involved sex magic, you know. So you can imagine what that involved. Bada bing, bada boom.
Of course, there was the woo that one of his offspring was Barbara Bush.
I think that's genuine. I do. We'll take a look at the pictures here.
Yeah, you got to, because the pictures are
the resemblance. Yeah, the resemblance is uncanny. It's just they both got that crazy psycho eye thing going on.
Definite, absolutely definite. I don't think there's any doubt. I really don't. Look at that. Look at the eyes.
That is see, that's what I'm saying.
Come on.
Look at that.
Bam.
Boom. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt there.
Oh, nothing to see here.
And it makes you wonder then what kind of ceremony, what kind of ritual was going on at the point of, you know.
Well, that's right. And then look at what it bred.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. The world's a whole lot stranger than people think it is. Some people will roll their eyes and go, look, these conspiracy nutcases. No, the world is a whole lot stranger.
I always loved that picture of him in that friggin' hat.
That one there.
That's my favorite of all of them.
That's him doing the Twin Towers there, you know, from Freemasonry. Joachim and Boaz.
Exactly. I mean, it's interesting to think about. I mean, if you want to tie this together and if you want to really kind of go off the deep end with woo, I mean, Barbara Bush is Crowley's daughter. She gave birth to George Bush.
A dynasty of presidents, and you know.
And then it happened to be under his watch that we had a certain event in September of 2001 occur, and that was a world-changing event. You know,
a ritual, if you will.
Popeye would be the one to ask about that. Mark Passio, he does some great stuff on the kind of occult ritual of that famous day back in 2001. You know.
Yes, and how, that event changed everything, right? I mean, we refer to,
pre and post.
Pre and post.
Yeah.
And so it's just very interesting how, you get this Crowley tie
was it
to
a ritual
it.
that kind of put us on a different timeline, or
and,
something
well,
like that?
That's what, a lot of people say that. I think it was Fritz Springmeier talking about that first. And I rolled my eyes when I first heard it, right? But see, when you sit and think about it, right, that was like, when you look at the occult kind of aspect of this esoteric stuff going on, the numbers involved, and if you are willing to say to yourself, okay, then, there is something kind of going on here on a metaphysical, magical level. So what does that mean? And like you guys have said there, I mean, time has changed. It's been weird. Yeah, things have got weirder ever since then. I'm well into that.
So the question is this a way of maybe Crowley manifesting something that maybe he wouldn't witness in his lifetime, but
he got the ball rolling, if you will.
He got the ball rolling, and eventually down the road, he got his way, or he was able to manifest something that he wanted to do.
That's the ultimate alchemy, right? If you can conjure something up beyond the grave, just a little bit, man.
I mean, he left his prodigy behind, you know what I mean? And they continued the work. I don't know.
I don't know either, man. I don't know either, dude.
So much woo with that.
There's a lot of woo. There's a lot of stuff you could get into on the back of that. Ryan must be sitting out there like that. Can't wait to get on this tomorrow. Bring your grimoires, Ryan. Says
Speaking
Parsons.
Of that, we got about 5 more minutes.
We've only got 5 minutes. How cool is that?
Man, it was a great Great story you have there,
Yeah,
man. A
so-
lot of great footage.
Tomorrow I can put my feet up.
Good stuff.
Let you guys do all the hard work tomorrow, right?
Ryan, you hear that? That means Kev's gonna
Ah,
put you to work.
you see, we had to get the clown horn out by the end of the show.
I
Yes.
do it. Yeah. Had to
And
be done.
anyone out there, I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it yet, go and check out Unirock. He had Lee Stranahan on his show yesterday. I've always followed Lee Stranahan all over on Twitter. And it was great to see him and Uni hanging out, and they were getting into Mike Cernovich, a very divisive character indeed. But really good interview. Go and check that out over on Unirock too. Thought I'd give my buddy a shout out there because I really, really enjoyed that interview. And we were catching up with some Uni before we came on, weren't we, Scott? We seen him over on D Live. Yep. Good form today is the Unirock.
Yes, he is definitely always in his element. It always seems like you click him on and you hear his voice. He's in the midst. He's in the fray.
It's like us. We're really first and foremost. I started on YouTube. I get that, but now I'm a radio guy, and I enjoy doing the streams and things. But people said to me, "What are you, Kev?" Well, I'm a radio show host, right? Unirock is just a streamer. It's constant, dude. I love it. It is brilliant. I don't know how he does it.
He is the poster child of a streamer.
How his channel hasn't blown up yet. I hope it does someday soon. Hope it just explodes into one of these bigger ones. But
his original channel was actually pretty big, wasn't it? And then it got deleted or
I think the algorithm got it. I think the algorithm got it in one of its sweeps.
So he's having to start from the ground up again. But yeah, I really hope he gets the recognition he deserves because
keeping YouTube honest.
He puts in and he puts in the work, man. I mean the amount of hours he'll just stream live. I mean it exhausts me,
Oh, big time.
And I'm just watching him.
He must have skin as thick as a crocodile, dude, because I tell you, you're putting a crosshairs on your back living the life at Uni.
Oh, boy. Did I just hear Uni? Yeah.
No, I was saying he interviewed Lee Stranahan. Brilliant show. Absolutely brilliant. 2 hours. Yeah, it was good. Really good stuff. But we were just saying, we're radio guys, and then you get streamers. And I tell you how people do that streaming.
Uni's a streamer.
Yeah, how you do that streaming constantly. That's hard work, man. Hard work.
Very hard work. Yeah.
Yeah, people think it's probably a lot easier than it looks. You just turn up, turn it on. There's a whole heap of stuff going on. And when you're doing it all yourself and
That's
prepping,
yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of work, guys.
It takes a lot of coordination.
Big time. Big time. And it works. I love it. So we're almost out of time. Tomorrow, we will have Ryan Gable from The Secret Teachings on the show. We'll be showing images and clips of one of the creepiest, most possessed pop stars I've seen ever.
We'll be having blue chicken for dinner.
No, we're not having blue chicken, Joe. Sitting watching Ancient Aliens today, right? No, get this. I had Brad Olson on. So Brad, Ancient Aliens, he's been on there. I'm thinking to myself, right, I'm going to try Ancient Aliens again. Gave up on it this season because Podesta was on it. But I thought, no, I'll go and give it a check it out. Oh, man, within 5 minutes, who was there? Mad David Shilcock. What did he start talking about? Yes, Thoth, the enamel tablet of Thoth. He was a bird man. And I'm starting. Here we go. Within 7 minutes on Ancient Aliens.
Nothing but the tooth.
I was done, man. The enamel tablets of Tooth. Private joke there, everyone. Private joke. Brilliant. But folks, we are going to make our leave. And to everyone who gives a super chat today, Bison, Just a Guy, love you to bits. All the members out there as well. And if you want a membership, it's in the description. We're going to open up a new emoji. I think we've got 3 more members to get. Myself and Scott were discussing some options for emojis, but probably not user friendly. The algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably would offend people with some of our suggestions, but that's how we roll. Any last words, gents? No? Joe's too stoned. Joe's way too stoned. Look at him, look. He's just way stoned. So we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, with Ryan. We shall see you all then.